horses were, and this one horse saw me, and I saw him, and he looked, and he's like,
Run, run, run.
uh-huh.
That's awesome.
It was really cute. And then Chewy and him got to like touch nose to nose. They were like, "What's
That's awesome.
that?" Chewy's like, "What is that?" That's funny.
That's funny.
So yes,
That's
that's what
nice.
I'm grateful for this morning is the birds, and it's so beautiful. It feels like I'm walking through the Garden of Eden. I mean, I know I'm not really, but it's so beautiful here. I love it.
Yeah.
Being able to have a few
Before
moments.
you go, I want to remind you why you started this journey. You gave up regular.
Sorry.
So yeah, I wanted to start out with what is everybody else grateful for this morning?
Well, I mean, I'm grateful for having the ability to figure out AI where other people can't. Like, I'm just blown away at what AI is able to do. I've been working on stuff this weekend, and we had a great opportunity to go out and look at a piece of property and come up with some plans for it. And like, what used to take me months and months is taking me minutes and minutes, and it just blows me away.
Mm, Freaking love AI.
Um, yeah,
Awesome.
I'm grateful for having created a life that lets me work from wherever I can get an internet connection.
Oh,
So I can hang with my parents and hang with my bestie and hang and travel and do all the world of all of that and still get some stuff done.
I love it.
That's what I am grateful for.
It is a quiet morning. It's only us here today.
I guess. The
oh.
holiday we didn't know about, or
Who else we got hanging out today?
It's just us.
just us,
Just us.
us crickets.
Very good. So, Catherine, do you want to lead in with the searching you've been coming up with, like when you were using AI for looking at what were you calling it? Dreaming? Do you want to talk about that or
Are you talking about where I'm gonna live next?
yeah, well, I'm talking about like I don't know how you want to say it. Like, do you want to talk about how you were looking up properties on online this weekend or no?
Yeah.
That's the question. Like, do you want to talk about the deals you got, or I can show people what I'm doing within free estimates and what I'm able to come up with for people? Like, so because we
Yeah,
have
I'll do a
nobody
quick
here, let's just make
lesson.
some content. Let's just put the content together and
Okay, so
make a
here's the
video
content.
today.
Okay, so here's the content for today. Inside of Do the Numbers, numbers tell you what to do. So one of the things I've been really looking at is the home that I have been living here for almost 10 years, and the equity that we're sitting on is significant. And trying to tap into it has been an interesting process given the insane rates that they want to charge me for tapping
Right?
into my equity. Like that doesn't even make sense. So inside of Do the Numbers, numbers tell you what to do is that I've been looking at selling my home so that again, it's a 5 bedroom home. You know, the kids have moved on. You know, do I love this home? Yes. Do I love the neighborhood? Yes. And inside of doing the numbers, numbers tell you what to do. I've been looking at, um, it's is it cheaper to or more cost effective to have a mortgage than to rent? Possibly. And what I'm looking at is I've been built multiple spreadsheets around this, around the different investments, so I could take the money the equity from the house and actually put it into multiple different investments and the income that it would generate monthly and annually would more than pay for another mortgage or rent payment or whatever. And so, inside of creating what is the next layer of my life, and I've talked to a lot of people about this, is like when it's a new chapter of what does life look like now that my kids are grown and out? And what am I creating next? What do I want to do? Do I want to travel? Do I want to keep working my tail off? And for what? Like, and at the end of the day, like I want to make a difference and I want to have fun. I want to have a lot of fun and really enjoy life. And go see my parents in Canada, things like that that um is where my heart is leaning to. And so just looking at the numbers of the equity in the home could literally generate more than enough cash flow to pay for a whole other lifestyle and potentially rent for now, while I continue to have that cash flow continue to grow and compounding cash flow. So, what I mean by that is taking the investment and continuing to let it grow and not just sit there, but now be used for other investments to let that grow. And then it just keeps compounding every month. And so, get to the point where if in a year from now I would have more than enough to continue to allow those investments to grow while have a significant down payment to be able to buy another house and look at, where do I want to live next? So the conversation we were having this weekend is here's what I love about AI. I can, swim and surf through all the things. So because I use my AI to actually do my daily journaling and like really think through things. What I love about it is that it finds patterns in my life and she reminds me of the patterns of like what I'm looking for into the future and being able to help me connect those dots. And so we went through the whole process of um, renting potentially an apartment. Then I was like, yeah. And then we went to a condo, then a house, and I was looking for places that had all the amenities. Somewhere it was kind of resort style living is what I'm thinking. But then I've got my giant dog, huge husky. I mean, he really thinks he's a lap dog, but other people sure
Yes, he
wouldn't see him
does.
as a lap dog. Then I thought, wait a second, I want horses. What would happen if I tested having some land, like rented a house with a stable or whatever, and potentially rented out some of the stables? So at least that was cash flowing. And then, got a horse and, saw what that whole lifestyle was like just for a year, just try it out, right? Like not full on commit, just like see if that's really something that I want. So inside of Deal Hunter and ChatGPT and AI, just having these conversations and figuring out what's available and then do the numbers tell me what to do about being able to get one of these properties, cash flow it, and then continue to have the benefit of it. So this was the journey that I went on this weekend. Anyway, so
Awesome.
that's inside of do the numbers tell you what to do. And I know a lot of people are in this realm of life. Like last week we had somebody come on and talk about reverse mortgages. So if you're 55 or older, there's a particular style of reverse mortgage that you get access to, and being able to tap into that equity in your home, put it into investments that provide the cash flow. The cash flow continues to buy more assets that provide passive streams of income. And, what else could you actually do with that? So it's a different way of thinking through all of it. So anyway, that's my lesson today for
Love
um,
it.
looking at life, hold on to the vision, let go of the picture, because life sure didn't turn out the way I thought it was going to. But the vision is still happening inside of living a life that I love and one that makes a difference. So, again, it's am I holding on to the house because it's that ingrained thing inside of us of like, you know, buy your house, pay off your mortgage,
Familiarity. Yeah.
like right? Versus a hold on, if I could actually create this however I want to create this, what would a created life actually look like? So it's it's been an interesting inquiry for me to be in every morning at 6 a.m. Dewey and I go on a walk with God and have this whole conversation. And I love what it's morphing into and giving me different possibilities that I never had imagined before. So
Love
deeply
it.
grateful for being able to have those conversations. And I know for me, like I have to talk it out to hear myself. And when I talk it through, I hear things and go, oh, that's interesting. So, anyway,
Love it.
Tommy, is that
That's
what you're
awesome.
talking about?
Yep, that exactly. Like AI really pulls together the opportunity to dream inside of where you want to be, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then like you said, you were looking at the horse thing and talking about, well, what if I did this horse thing? Yeah, that's huge. You want to do that, right? Especially if you want to have horses in your life like that. It's not something that you want to just jump straight into if you've never done it before. Heads up. Um, and who, not how, right?
yeah.
We know people that have horses that you can go and do this with. The other side of that is like also enjoying it to the level that you want to as well, inside of the fact that you could invest into a place that has income. And we're talking about DSCRs. You talked about the 12 or not the 12, the 55 and older reverse mortgage and how that might work. I think that a DSCR works really well inside of the fact that if you're able to show that you have significant income that will pay the debt service, I don't care
Mhm.
who you are or what you got. So with that, I would love to see what we're able to come up with on that side of it, for your ability to have um, a uh, DSCR place. Like you get the ranch, it's got the house, and then there's 3 units out back that you rent out. You rent
Right.
those 3 units out in the back. You got a horse stable where you don't have to. All you want to do is go pet them. You want to ride them sometimes and pet them, right? You don't want to go out there and clean the poop or here's one. Go get the beans out. If you don't know what that means, go look it up. I'm not saying no more. But if you're not willing to do all those things that you need to do to maintain or have a horse, you got people there that do it for you. Great. That you can make money off of that by letting other people keep their horses there. You got one horse, not nine.
Right. And the other option it came up with, because I think I really want to do resort style living, so to speak, um, is to do resort style living and potentially rent somebody's horse that's already in stable somewhere. Somebody else is taking care of it. I just get to go for the fun parts.
It's like it's better if I have a friend that has a boat than to have a boat yourself.
Absolutely. Like
Better to
that is
have a
the
friend that has a
best way.
horse or
That is the
two.
best way to have a boat is to have somebody that has one already and just pitch in to help them all the time. That's really the best way to do it.
So
100%.
we have some guests on here. Do you see everyone,
I don't. I
Tommy?
don't. Who do we
You
got?
don't see the screen?
Oh, I did not. Again, I'm off working my butt off over here, and you guys are just chatting away, chatting away. So,
So we've got Stanford Grimes and Ashley and Cicely. So yeah, so good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. We had started out this morning's call with what are we grateful for? And inside of creating a life, because I don't know about for all of you, but life certainly hasn't turned out the way I thought it would. It's not fitting my picture. However, it is fitting my vision. And inside of fitting my vision, what we talked about was what had happened over the weekend around using these AI tools and Deal Hunter and stuff is looking at, for me, the next phase and chapter of my life of potentially selling my home and taking that money, investing it in several investments that will provide very, very well for me, which will allow me to, in turn, either rent short term until I figure out where I want to live next, which will allow me to accumulate again the money necessary for a down payment and all that for a house when I'm ready to actually do that all over again. But taking the equity in my house and actually having it work harder for me than I worked for it. So that's and what is that? What does that next chapter look like? Given my kids are grown and off, and um, it's looking at resort style living versus having to take care of everything myself, and potentially having horses and like just what does all that look like? So anyway, so Tommy's now sharing his screen.
Resort style living, you said it right there. Resort style living, we're gonna build it right there, right? So, yeah, I was super excited to go out and play pickleball out here on that pickleball court right there. But this is actually all conceptual. Catherine and I went out, met up with this guy. He's got this big piece of land right here like this. You can see the pickleball court there, but it ain't got nothing else attached to it out there. And so we got to come up with a concept that he wants to fulfill in a way that he can fulfill it. And what we were looking at doing out there, this is what he brought us, right? And so we're like, okay, those are, you know, manufactured in a factory, planted out there. Wonderful. It looks beautiful. Like I love the concept. So I went back into ChatGPT and I'm like, okay, to build this and to do what this guy wants, how much is it going to cost? We used we used free estimates to come up with that. Free estimates is the AI tool that we use to do a lot of our pre-construction build out stuff. And so what I did was like, for example, I went and I grabbed a just a screenshot of one. I was like, here's one that, he told me, what did he say, Catherine? He could get them from China for like $15,000 a piece. There you go. Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm like, okay, great. Great idea. How long will it really last? I don't know. Like that's what I base stuff on is if I buying something, how long will it last? So if he spends 14,000 on it, what it's going to cost to get it here and plant it in the ground is still 120 to 150,000 per completed unit, right? And so if he's at that level right there, and he's doing six of them, we're pushing almost $1 million, right? So he's got to make money off of those, right, to get to that
Yeah.
point. And where we found he's able to do that is if he's giving them a resort, literally like a luxury hospitality resort style specification, something very similar to like I said about the place called Castle Hot Springs. And we were looking at Castle Hot Springs before the podcast because Castle Hot Springs is another luxury style place. It's got great amenities and all that, but it's super expensive. It's not a cheap place to. What was it? $1,800 a night we seen. So we'll go back and they got a farm out there. So
And all the food they make is with the farm that, like the food they grew.
yeah, like they got gourmet chefs out there cooking the food they grew. Like it's super cool out there. But you got just little cabins, right? Little casitas. These are not giant hotel rooms or houses. They've got giant hotel houses out there. You can rent a big house out there. But again, minimum nightly rental out there because of this hot spring right here, $1,500 a night, right? And you literally drive in, if you don't know, you literally drive in on a dirt road that's literally a river. If it rains, you're gonna get drowned in. So you will lose your car trying to drive through there. Anyway, we used free estimates to then look at the design of that, give us a price range, and then I said, okay, I want to come up with some concepts for this guy that he didn't actually like, because again, this is a guy that doesn't have the experience that we have inside of this. So I told my GPT, I said, let's go back and look at some projects we've done, and with that, what we've done is what's called earthen built, property. And so what an earthen built wall looks like, or what a earthen bound wall construction is, we get dirt, we build walls, we pour the dirt in between the walls, and then pack it in there. And then after it's all packed in there, we yank out the forms, and the dirt stays right there. Okay.
Wow.
The other way is to do concrete, cinder block wall. So between the dirt wall and the cinder block wall, and then we're gonna have big 12-foot doors, just so that you got beautiful, views out both sides, right? Bathroom in the middle. This is more of a unshared bathroom. The other one we had was like, if we had a Jack and Jill in it. Did I have the? Yeah, here's the Jack and Jill. Or the center bathroom, because you got the bedroom on one side and the living room on the other. So, and then, so we came up with these concepts for him with the big glass doors, and he's like, "Ooh, I like those," so
So doing the earth walls like that, does that keep it cooler?
yes. I mean, the walls are 2 foot thick. And then with all that glass in there, you want it, you're gonna have, we're gonna have to have the smart windows that, black out and turn mirror when
Right.
the sun gets in that direction, but you'll still be able to see out without restriction, you know.
What was that called before? That used to be a thing
What?
when they built the house out of basically dirt and mud, but they did it like, what's that called?
So they have multiple ways. The Adobe house is
Yeah,
actually, they
Adobe.
make bricks. This is a different compound than an Adobe. An Adobe is actually making bricks and then stacking them up. Whereas this is actually like pouring dirt into a straight column and
Mm-hmm.
like forming it like a 3D printer.
Mm.
And so
Interesting.
it becomes like a 3D printed house, because we're literally like putting in the dirt every 3 inches, we're packing it down, putting more dirt, packing it down. We're reproducing how to build a mountain in like record time because of the way we're doing it.
Interesting.
So,
That's really cool.
but my client doesn't understand this. He needs visual, like I can tell him all the stuff in words, but until he actually sees, he's not going to get it. He's a very visual guy. And so
Mhm.
this is with this pod on there. We got to put pylons in, put the beams in, put the posts in, put the beam up, put the house on top. Right. Whereas this is connected straight to the ground. And it's got a footer, it's got what's called a stem wall that you build on top of, and then the dirt goes up through. So um and what the cool part is that we can build him the lake. We can actually put a lake on his property, because he's got where did I right here. This is his property. This green area right here is the only area we can use to do anything, because this is the only high spot that he has out there. So oops. All this over here is what's called floodplain. He's in a massive floodplain. So inside of that, inside of being inside a floodplain like that, see how much of his property's in a floodplain? I can build a lake right here, and I can build a really nice big water retention area. I can run that creek over there into the lake and then back out and into the creek. And what we do with that is we create what's called a aquifer recharging station, and we might be able to buy some more land back over here to do some more stuff. But I can build that lake, and then by building that lake, I'm then going to be able to bring that over and make those walls out of that dirt that I pulled out of the lake. And so I'm reducing the cost of construction as well. So um, this is what it kind of looks like. Let me see. I don't know if I can zoom in on this one. No. Down here, you can see the rammed earth example right there, where it's just compacted soil in layers. The other way to do it is mixing mud, putting straw together, like Ashley was saying. You put the mud and the straw together, and you make adobe bricks, and then you stack those up. So that's the other way to do it. And then this is again like concrete wall, and building in concrete wall. So we can duplicate what he wants out there, and produce what he's looking to get out there. This is a 16-foot wide by 40, is like a double. And at that point, we would actually move this bathroom setup more toward the outside. And this is one of the nice things about not having to do a pod, because if it's just a pod, it has to stay on those pillars and you can't really modify it too much. But I want to have the bathroom more of an outdoor bathroom, and have the shower tub outside so that you're able to get that resort style experience, you know. So to follow along with what he has. And so how does that work with AI? How does that work within our AI? I feed these images to it, and this is what it produces for me. Then I can tell it to give me the estimates. And here's the thing. I am a general contractor, been doing this for 30 years, and I can validate what the information is that it's providing me, because I've done it before and I know the going prices. But the other thing that it does is it actually produces the sources for me where it got the information if I ask it to. It's built in to do it, but if it doesn't do it, I make it do it. And so, for example, if I'm building those earthbound walls like that, like I got to know how much material I'm gonna build, need to do that, right? So inside of that, it shows, I told it, I says, I need comparisons of all four concepts. So, give me those plans. And so it did. And it went through, gave me the breakdown of like 8 by 40, 320 square feet, 6 units, 1,900 square foot total, uh, wall height, guests, all the stuff. Like it did that off of my images. The concept here is to get like the owner's proposed glass pod. It gives me the concept, the cost breakdown, and tells me, you know, how to estimate the expected lifespan. So it could be anywhere between 15 and 50 years, depending on how they're built. So I don't know how they're built, but they don't look like they're going to last 50 years. The next one was to go out there was to look at the Adobe or the rammed earth. So I got Adobe, which is making the blocks, like Ashley said, or rammed earth, like I was saying, as far as building a what's called a cell, and ramming the earth into the cell until it's compacted.
What is the view like there?
It's
Exactly like that video, because that video that I showed is actually from out there. So
Okay.
this is the view.
And then I saw you post one that was like lifted with it that close to a floodplain. I mean,
Yeah. Well, this is up the side of a mountain. So yeah, the floodplain's right there, but then these are being built on literally on top of the like on the side of the cliff. So it's literally a dramatic change in elevation. It doesn't show it very well here, but when you're out there, you can definitely see it. And it's
okay.
it's pretty significant.
Okay.
So, and so like the view, but as far as view goes, like this is the view, and it's a desert. And so there's hardly ever any water out there. It rains out there once a year, twice a year at most. And so if you're out there during a rainstorm, like take a couple mushrooms, kick back and relax for the weekend, because you're not going anywhere,
Yeah, right.
you know? So just make sure if you ever go out there, you go equipped to stay for a couple days and be safe. And it's really not that bad. It's super, super nice out there. And what Ryan wants to do and what Ryan wants to accomplish out there is Castle Hot Springs type of experience where, they have the chefs and they have the maitre d's and all the stuff, because that he's wanting to rent it as the whole resort, not just by the unit, right?
Oh, I see.
And so if I had a meditation group that had 20 people in it, I could take them all there and rent the whole thing from him for that event. And then have it catered, have it chauffeured, have it concierge, have it all the things.
I feel
Right.
like I've been to Hot Springs and I feel like or excuse me, a lot of the cost is to be able to be in the hot spring.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, that's what people are
That's why they go.
paying for.
Yeah. And
And then
what
they
I
have little amenities like there you could play, they have a little section for golf. You can
yeah,
get massages and
it's totally a
go on a
spa.
hike.
Yeah,
Yeah.
spa wellness retreat. They got the farm. You can do the farm thing. Like, yeah, they've got on their website, they've got three specific cool things that you can do out there. Um, and you know,
And then they
uh,
have different tiers because they
yeah,
took the hot spring and then they closed it off to make it a pool. And
right.
as it gets lower, it gets cooler and cooler and cooler. And like things can grow in the water based on
How
the
cool is it?
yeah. And so
Yeah.
you can go in the other ones, but they are creepy. I would not get in them.
So yeah, the springs out there are amazing. Tonopah has some hot springs as well. And then inside of that, like this was what he was wanting to do is like he wanted to make sure that people could come out and do paddle boarding on the lake. So if we build a lake out there on this desert resort place, right? Oh crap.
That could be really cool.
What I will have is I will have enough dirt to make the walls to do the earthen bound structure.
I have a friend who helped with the concept of Castle Hot Springs.
Nice.
Wow.
He like helped design it and
Very cool. So with free estimates though, it shows here like it explains how much dirt I'm gonna need if I want to make 18-inch wall or 24-inch wall. Catherine was asking, does it help with the temperature? It most certainly does. Especially if we build those walls facing the sun majority time. So that the glass just acts as like a window to the outdoor, right? So, and in the winter, the biggest thing is going to be keeping the place warm in the winter, not so much keeping it cool in the summers. Keeping it cool in summer will be helpful, but it's not going to be the season out there. The season out there is October to April, but we could make it a year-round season as well. So there's just some things that we have to do to prepare for all that. But going through the final thing was like the CMU or the that most people know it as cinder block. So the cinder block walls and putting them up out there, that seemed to be the most reasonable priced because you can get it done for less than $700,000. And then on top of that, we can actually modify if we're doing site built cabins instead of these pre-manufactured factory built. The pre-manufactured factory built can't bigger than 10 foot wide usually because they're illegal to drive down the highway and they're hard to deliver. So outside of that, if we built them out there, if we built the walls out there and we built the thing out there, all we got to do is bring it out in pieces and put it together or dig a pond, dig a lake, and then screen that dirt and use that dirt to build the walls. And so that all that being said, we can then go out to 14 by 40, 16 by 40, 20 by 40, make them a little bit bigger, roomier, stuff like that. So he's allowed to have up to 6 units out there. So that's why I want to expand that to that level. The other thing he can have is he can have other outbuildings out there, as long as they're not being able to be lived in or, whatever. So, like having a space for meditation room, stuff like that. We're gonna look at building some of that stuff out, but not until we know exactly how we're gonna build it. So, free estimates though, again, supplies me with all this. And again, I know how to do this because I'm a contractor. All this does is make it easier for me. It takes the time out of my hands and turns it into what I would do in about 4 or 5 days. It turns it into something immediately, something I can use immediately, right? And it's using sources that I can validate. Like the salute, for example, um, doing its own research, it's going off and looking at a variety of structures and getting information on where to find details about digging, making earthbound housing. And so this is a website that you can get those details about earthbound housing or shipping containers or prefabricated wood or sandwich panels. Again, these are all like non-conventional building methods. And so finding out those things and getting that information is important. So the uh, uh, different resources that are here. We can use these to then put together client information packages. I can make out, build out the drawings, and then I can also start making my concepts. Like this is the concept right here. I don't know if it's gonna open that one or not. There we go. I told it, I just gave it a prompt, said use the drawings and give me your idea. This is what AI's concept was. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I appreciate that, but now I'll make my own. And when I make my own, I'll send it into it. And when I send it into it, it's actually going to be able to do things like figure out the boardwalk length, because the boardwalk still has to be an elevated boardwalk. And so building out all the footpaths and building out all the boardwalks, like how many foot is that? And AI is really good at helping me figure that out. It doesn't figure it out. It helps me figure it out. Right. So, and when I work on it more and more, it turns into more and more what it really is. So, but the more data I give it, the better it becomes too. So inside of that. So, and then over to, talking about the real estate, I'm sorry, the Deal Hunter by Landshark, and the investor survey. Oh, that's right. Ashley, I got your investor survey.
Yeah, I figured out how to share it.
I did get it. So I'm actually, since we still got time, I'm gonna pop that in real quick. Let me quit sharing my screen. Does anybody have anything else to share? See that Mr. Grimes is in here. You want to introduce yourself? Tell folks where we met up and how you found out about us. I think
Yes,
this is
sir.
I think this is the cat from the Friday night meeting we went to.
It is. It is. I'm back in Colorado now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I went out to the NOLB out there at headquarters. Had a great time, met some amazing people. Really learned a lot, especially underwriting aspect, I think was my biggest takeaway, other than getting to see the speakers do live calls, which was good. Because it definitely for me took some of the edge off of me, um, because I see myself as a closer, someone that gets on the phone and talks to sellers and gets deals done. I like deal structure, really enjoy that, um, and and seeing these guys that doing their business and I was like, well, they're actually not that great of talkers, but they actually know what they're talking about. So that was the difference. Um, a couple of them weren't, yeah, like I said, weren't great talkers, but they knew what they knew, and the way they worded situations. It was really good. I learned a lot from listening to them do their closings and whatnot. But I met y'all, you and Catherine over at the Friday night. That was a really awesome meetup. It was good hearing the host there talk about his his catastrophes. Because I think it is good to, talk about your wins, but at the same time, I think sometimes people can get lost in the glory and don't realize the mud you have to trudge through most of the time. Um, because nothing ever works out perfectly. There's always to be problems. Um, and so I really enjoyed that aspect of it, and I think he helped bring a lot of people back down to reality. Um, in that, um, really love talking to you on Friday. I stayed for an extra day. I wanted to meet everybody in AZ and the locals there and kind of do some more connection. It's kind of I wanted to connect with some more experienced, like-minded individuals, being that NOLB was 99% brand new to sub two, and a lot of them brand new to real estate in general, or at least the aspect of acquiring multifamily other asset classes similar. So I wanted to make some connections of more experienced people, which I ended up doing with Catherine and yourself and a couple other people as well. It was a really productive get together on Friday.
No, that's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I actually just put together a seller finance deal. I did some changing. Catherine, from the last time I talked to you, I changed a few things and I sent an LOI, and seller agreed to it. So I'm putting together a purchase agreement today for that purchase of that 24 mobile home park.
Nice.
Um, yeah, I'm super excited about it. This would be my first deal going under contract. It's a really good the way I structured it, you're gonna like this. So he was wanting 40% down and then a high down payment. And he originally came back at me with $15,000 a month. And I said, there's no way for anybody in their right mind to make money on this property like that. But I was like, I think we're headed in the right direction. So I kept working with him. Um, my last offer was at 10 a month, and then he wanted 12 a month. And so what I came back to him with was a step up system. So first year of ownership, $9,000 a month. Second year of ownership, $10,000 a month. Third year of ownership, $11,000 a month. And then for the fourth year of ownership, $12,000 a month. Because he was wanting to get that higher down payment or that higher monthly. And there's potential within the property, and the property works as it sits with 3 homes vacant. So the numbers work with 3 homes vacant. Once those get tenants into them, there will be automatically an increase in that NOI. So I ran all the numbers with them vacant as it sits right now. But there is definitely potential for that NOI to increase once we get those other 3 and suited up. And so he agreed to those terms. I got it at 0% interest on the seller finance, but the caveat was a $300,000 pay at the end of the 10-year term. So the interest would be a lump sum at the end of the 10-year instead of accrued or amortized.
Did,
Which, go ahead.
sorry, is there room for you to add more unit or like slabs for more mobile homes?
There isn't on the current structure unless I move some stuff around, which I think that's not cost effective. But what I did see is that there is a vacant lot next door that could suit 3 to 4 more homes.
Also, when there's vacancy, you should always plan on there being some type of vacancy. Like for you to just have 100% full mobile home at one point, you shouldn't count on that for your income.
Yeah,
Can I ask? Sorry, I'm Cicely. I specialize in mobile homes, so sorry I'm butting in. Can I ask where the park is?
it's outside. Well, it's in Lexington, South Carolina.
Okay.
Do you
Okay.
have the address with you? Would you mind if we, uh, would you mind if we did
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
if I could
It's
run it through my deal hunter?
Yeah,
absolutely.
that
So
was
it's
what I wanted next was to run it through that. So, while go ahead and give Tommy the address, and then I want to ask you a few questions.
Of course. The address is 159 Weaver Drive, Lexington, South Carolina. It's an off-market deal. He hasn't went to market yet, but
And how did you find this?
one of my bird dogs. So
Love it.
I was I started making I actually it makes me want to pull my hair out when I get like 3 voicemails in a row. I don't know if it's my patience level for it or if it's just cold calling in general that I absolutely disdain. I love talking to people. I love doing deal structures. Really don't like cold calling. And I think it's the repetition of it. I'm a very
Like you don't
um
want a cold call, or you don't like receiving them.
oh, I don't mind receiving them. If I received them, it wouldn't be cold. It would be warm at that point because they're calling me to talk about it. But I I don't like
Do you know how to
cold calling
generate that?
myself.
Do you know how to generate
Hey,
them
Glenn,
calling you?
I do. I don't currently have uh capital to invest in that myself to actually put together a paid team. I have bird dogs that I have worked a JV contracts with to be able for them to do the cold calling and deal seeking, and they send me the deals to close on or to assess. Most of them are pretty new, and I don't want to say I'm experienced in this at all, but what I am experienced in is um, being able to assess and look at things and understand them, even if I haven't walked the road yet. So I understand deal structure. I understand what a good deal is. I understand how to underwrite and all these things. And so what I'm offering these bird dogs on top of our JV contract is guidance and skills and connecting them with the community and all that. Um, and so they get a lot out of it. But actually, Marcel Weaver, one of my um, bird dogs, is actually in AZ. I got to meet him there Friday night. He's been my best bird dog. He sent me the most deals. He's talked to me the most, given me calls. Like we stay in contact every day. Like he is a great bird dog, and he's local to AZ. He's gonna go places. I told him he's gonna pass me up soon.
That's
Cool.
funny.
Well,
Okay,
some people
so
stay bird dogs because that's all they want to do. So, but real quickly, so I got it to run the deal. Catherine, can I interrupt real quick and see if we're on the right page with this one?
yep,
Is this the place here that you can tell?
That's it.
Okay. Um, so what it does, Deal Hunter thought about this for about 33 seconds and came back. What it is, I gave it the address you told me to run. Um, and then I said, this is a mobile home park off market, run this deal. And this is not a, and this is the run this deal is literally a simple prompt that triggers what's called a JSON, and it unleashes a torrent of information that I taught it to come up with. And it'll go out and look for this information, such as parcel ID numbers, if it's ever been on the market before, what was the previous what is if it's on the market, what is it doing on the market, stuff like that. um and so going through it and uh it'll provide me with an underwriting report that I can use to make a quick decision. 33 seconds, basically. So it says here that prior marketing reported that there was currently about a $13,000 a month income, stabilized potential of 16,000, and then taxes on the property total were about 18,000. So then you add utilities and maintenance that averaged about 8,000 a year, and that's pretty good for a mobile home park. And then a total advertised total expenses is about 26,000. So current annual, and this is a seller's advertised case based on the two sources it provided, Zillow and LoopNet. And when I went to Zillow and LoopNet, doesn't say that it's currently listed, but it was on the market at one point. This is what it was saying that it had. I don't know if that's the case now or not, but basing the $2 million price on a 7 cap, it says that price per existing unit is about $86,957. That's what you'd be paying. If you had a 15% expense ratio, which to me sounds uh, slightly aggressive for a park-owned home operation, but in that normalized case study, an NOI between 100,000 and 118,000 should be where you're at, so that you have a 40% of gross revenue expenses instead of the 15. Like that, you got to be a little bit more realistic, or try to be. So at that point, it brings the cap rates. If you got an 8 to 9 cap, you should be paying between 1.6 and 1.4. So the position that I would take if this was me going after this deal, I'd offer them about 1.15 with a target contract of about 1.25, maybe 1.4, stretching it to 1.5 if I can verify all the collections, has a clean infrastructure and a credible path to making more than 16,000 a month, 17,000 a month, and I would not pay anywhere over 2.0 conventionally. So some of the things that it says that we can maybe do, as far as, price adjustments, is that there's about a 15, like Cicely was saying, there's a 15 to $30,000 per non-rentable home, meaning like if you got three out there that are down, decrease the price by 30,000 per, right? So now you're just taking $990,000 off the top right there. Financing realities that you have to take into consideration is that if you're familiar with a DSCR loan, you want to make sure that if you're going to be financing this property, that you have at least a 1.25 DSCR loan. And based on getting a loan for like 1.2 million, based on the current uh, debt service and what a stabilized NOI looks like, you're at about a 0.82. You're paying to make that property work. So setting up a seller financing may be the best options for you, where you push the payments toward the rears, like you were talking about. And it sounds like that was a pretty good plan, but you're wanting to get a pretty significant amount of that property in equity first. And then here's some key due diligence things to keep in mind. You want to verify all this information. You want to check the occupancy, double check the utilities like septic tanks, wells, sewer, stuff like that. You want to make sure all that, because that any of that cost you get is unfinanceable. It's not easy to get loans for it. So with all that being said, our deal hunter will come back with a negotiable angle and give you a place to go from. And then it gives us all a verdict based on how it thinks it should go about the project. And here it says it's a go, but only if I can get it down to a 1.4 or have seriously favorable seller terms. Right? The basis is near 55 to 61,000 per unit. That's an attractive way to do it. Get the verified stabilized NOI up above 120. You got to have seller financing terms that keep the DSCR above a 1.25, and then figure out, like Cicely said, about how can you add more units out there. And based on what I'm seeing right here on these pictures, I'm going to swing this over here real quick and tell you what I got. Looking at this picture, I could definitely reorganize some of this out here to put a couple more units. If I actually was interested in doing that, I might, consider replacing some of these older ones like these with newer units. And when I build out those newer units, creating the space necessary. So I don't have a bigger picture than that, but I've done several of these projects in the past, and found that sometimes, depending on what the highest and best use is, sometimes buying the park is also by going through and telling everybody, hey, I want to clean this up, clear it out, and put bigger, better homes in here. You know, the acreage is only 4.7, but the density, it sounds like you get 5 units per acre or 6 units per acre. So I would go with that density, but that's bigger picture. But that being said, does that sound like a sizable amount of information for 33 seconds?
Very much.
Yep.
I have some questions. Sorry. Is
Yeah,
it, is there, do you know, I don't know, California might be a little bit different, but the spaces, are they owned? Are they rented?
these are all owned.
Is there rent control? Is
No,
there's no rent
So,
control?
so there's eight that are rent to or lease to own. There's 16 that are park owned
Okay.
that are rented out.
oh, they'll get rental.
The lease to owns are um priced higher. And so his NOI is a lot higher than what Deal Shark was able to pull up, just because of him trying to. His goal was to try to lease to own some of the older units, get those out of the way, and then bring in new trailers or new homes to the park and replace them and try to basically rotate those older ones out with newer ones by lease to own.
Okay, so I'm sorry, you said 8 lease to own, 16 rentals. So 16 are owned by the park itself. So that's majority of the
Hmm.
park is owned. Are they rented out or are they those ones are vacant?
There is three. I have to let me pull over here.
And then while you're doing that, do you already have the commercial lender set up?
I do not.
Are you looking for that connection?
I am. So I
Let's
have
talk
a couple
after.
numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can yeah, there's a few people I can who we went through for the loans on our parks. So we can talk about that if that's something you're wanting.
Yeah, so I probably would want to do a DSCR on the down, and then the seller will carry the rest.
Yeah, and so you can see I put this in here so that no money down, no money out of my pocket. What does that look like if the purchase price is 2 million a month? Purchase price total 2 million. You got to put 80K, 800,000 down, and he's going to carry the apparently the 12,000, or I mean the 1.2. You're going to be ending up paying $10,000 a month based on what I heard you say. Maybe I'm wrong, but we can recorrect any of this that's not that's not correct. So it's saying that that 800 down kind of kills the deal, because if you have to go borrow that, then that really twists up your financials and doesn't make it a good situation for you that way. So other way to do it would bring on an equity partner that doesn't mind waiting 3 years to get payment, start getting payments. Um, so there's that path. Then there's the seller finance 100% seller financing, like convincing them that that's a good idea. You can do a master lease with purchase options, meaning like what you do is you instead of buying it, what you do is you do a master lease agreement with him, and you get to lease the park from him and then pay him a portion of the income once it's stabilized. So, and we know people that done that as well. So, but as far as an underwriter, this program, Deal Hunter by Landshark, is set up to underwrite deals and tell you the best ways to get into them, on top of it being, done in a relatively quick way, and provide you with the sources of where it's getting its information. It pulls from Crexi, Zillow, LoopNet, all the, even local government, southcarolina.gov. So it's going to pull information from local government, local websites, and national, national brand stuff too. So um,
I have a
I'd
question.
love to have you take this and check it out and utilize it to be able to, expedite your position in this situation and be able to protect you as well. You were saying it, you were looking to create an LOI. Um, I would, I want to create a letter of intent. The owner's name is to be disclosed, so just leave that space blank. My name is Stanford Grimes, and I need to put this LOI together, explaining how I want to do option path number 2, and why I want to do it that way, so that he understands that according to the metrics and the financial uh, ecosystem we currently have, it would not be fundable or equitable at this time the way he has it structured. So I either have to lower the price or adjust the terms. So, and we call this bringing sellers to reality sometimes too. So we can use a letter of intent to do that, which, by the way, Ashley, I wanted to mention that to you as far as like bringing sellers to a moment of reality. I was told that we should not pay more than $18,000 per door for the land in Glendale. That's the top of market right now, is $18,000 per door. And if you do that times 138 doors, then their price is only about $2.47 million.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was coming from the guy that just finished building the last mobile or the last multifamily development over there in Glendale. He said that's where the market is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Stanford, you can see here, this is an example of that letter of intent. Puts everything together, explaining it out pretty good, and then like just sign and send.
Stanford,
So
I do have something that's on my mind too. So when my broker sells parks, so we evaluate parks based on we look at the rent roll, and we determine where that is, how to increase with value add. So we look
yep,
to see how we can upgrade the park, but I would also consider looking at to see like how much each brand new home is going to cost to put in, what the rental market is in the area because when I sell a manufactured home, it's challenging to sell a manufactured home in in an area where the rent is more affordable than the
then
manufactured.
the
Yeah.
mortgage, yeah. And
So I
again,
was
that's something Deal Hunter can do. It's called a feasibility study. So you can say, what is the feasibility of turning this into a full rental park instead of it being an owner park? And so you might have to look at that and understand that, like, even though you've got full occupancy, the county continues to decrease in population over the last 10 years or 15 years. If the county has a steady decrease in population, it's not going to be long before your mobile home park becomes literally like the last place in town to live because it's a ghost town. And you're not going to make any money off of that. So these are things you want to be wary of and understanding that you want to look at those things as well
and
to
also
Cicely's
to
point.
know if it's a suburban or if it's an urban, suburban, ex-urban, super
Right.
commuter or rural area. So like
And Deal Hunter puts all that together. So
understanding the location and what is around will keep it consistently bringing in that rental. I'm learning a lot about the rental, like the mobile home. When you buy a park in a certain area where the if the rent is going to continue to be that way or if people are eventually going to leave the area.
yeah, that's what, and again, like I said, having that conversation with our deal hunter is huge. So Ashley, this is that Land Shark Investor Survey, what it came up with for you. I know
Mhm.
we're a little bit past time, and Catherine, I'm hoping that we've got the ability to kind of extend a
No,
little
we're
bit.
good. We have another hour. We're good.
So we've
If
got
this is
this here,
helpful, keep going.
yeah. So oops. So Ashley, this is your Land Shark Investor Survey. It found that your primary archetype is a conscious capitalist mixed with the cash flow philosopher, and that your core focus is purpose-driven wealth, financial freedom, and long-term legacy. So inside of that, what that really looks like is, that Ashley is not simply pursuing wealth; she's pursuing freedom with purpose. Wealth must create opportunities, not just for herself, but those also around her. And so that's why, as a matter of fact, Ashley has a special membership with inside of Land Shark Mastermind because of the way she looks at opportunities. So inside of that, if you take the cash flow philosopher and the conscious capitalist, put them together and mix them together, what is the superpower? The superpower is the freedom metrics, that investments that make both financial sense and human sense because they produce reliable monthly income while improving lives and building family security, right? So money is not the destination, the purpose is. Um, um, so, um, so inside of that, what we do is a SWOT, what's called a SWOT analysis. We take your superpowers and we understand that a conscious capitalist and a cash flow philosopher mixed together, they have strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and we do a SWOT analysis inside of that. And these are your core components to each one of those. And so where your strengths like coachable and mentor oriented, uh, your threats are that you suffer from a little bit of analysis paralysis. So your coachable strength needs to be overpowered by the analysis paralysis, right? Missing opportunities via delays, get with mission focused leadership, emotional attachment to deals. Look at so many deals that there is no emotional attachment, right? These are the things that we go through. So core investor strengths, these are what your strengths are inside of what you answered. Your answers are what dictate the results of these, of this survey. And it says that you have purpose driven leadership, financial responsibility, relationship capital, meaning building meaningful relationships inside of building wealth, long-term vision and continuous learning. So your growth opportunities, though, how to accelerate inside of what your core strengths are, is going to be to start doing independent deal analysis. Learn to trust your own underwriting. Like using Deal Hunter, we teach you how to use this, and you start analyzing deals and going, yep, this is better. Yep, this is better. So faster decision making comes with that confidence, and then having financial discipline to validate impact with hard numbers, like getting like going to these guys and saying, hey, like we know you guys want 3.8 million, but you're only worth about 2.5 million. So what do you want to do? Like, I'm not here to be a jerk about it, but let's figure it out. Ashley's got that ability. Her portfolio system will grow from that. So inside of that, we always build out our deal flow, our deal funnel, and it shows like if you can answer these questions, you'll get down to where you leave every person, property, community better than you found them. That's the Titan impact like foundation. And so we always look at your assessment as how do we align with you inside of that? And so does it generate cash flow? Dependable cash flow, then move to the next one. Does it align with my long-term goals? Move to the next one. Is the downside risk acceptable? Move to the next. Like if it don't, move it out. Right? Is the operator trustworthy? Move it to the next one. Would I still own this asset in 10 years? When you can answer yes to all those, boom, you've met the deal you want to get into. Right? It's not about 100% out of making the numbers work. Like if the numbers don't work, if the downside risk is unacceptable, then don't make the numbers work. Don't force it. Move it out the door. Get to the next one, because if you got a handful, you can't receive anymore. So as soon as you get something that looks like caca, let it go. So you're ready to catch the next one. And that's how this works inside of here, right? Is we see that in phase one, we want to build your financial assets like this. We want you to work on duplexes, single family rentals, seller finance properties, and fourplexes. Middle tier, your scale and expansion is that you're going to move from that portfolio base to a small apartment community or revenue based business or even commercial assets. And then finally, what you're going to get to from there is building larger multifamily portfolios, having diversified holding company that manages everything from like land to industrial to commercial to multifamily, and combining that, having that mission driven business where Ashley's pinnacle is providing all that you can beneath that. The other way to do that is also look at it this in the sense that you want to crawl before you run, right? And so it's giving you examples of what you can do to get there, scenarios, advantages, outcomes, and how to make it get there. Starting out with, like, for example, a $300,000 purchase, paying 300,000 purchase, paying $3,000 a month, and then getting a 600 to 900 month cash flow from that, right? Like that would be the baby step, and then getting to the point that you're doing that with 140 doors, right? So no legacy is built alone. Constructing the operational ecosystem requires a team. So who's at the center of this is Ashley. And then what Ashley has is a core team outside of that. That core team outside of that is she needs to have lenders and mentors. It's funny it mentioned mentor twice, Ashley. Are you difficult? Then you've got realtor, a CPA, a contractor, and a property manager. And that's going to be what's going to help you around your core team. And then you're going to expand outside of that and go get asset managers, acquisition managers, operation coordinator, and executive assistants. So what it's looking at on this is what we call your 90-day blueprint. It tells you that, step one inside of your 90-day blueprint, you want to attend Land Shark deal room meetings, analyze 25 deals, learn how to underwrite using Deal Hunter. Month two, do 50 deals, and then start building lender relationships and study creative financing deals. And then month three, you're going to want to start submitting offers, pursue your first acquisition, whether that's a $300,000 deal or a $3 million deal. Like, we'll help you do whichever. Step two is 12-month business plan. And in that 12-month business plan, you want to have reviewed at least 150 plus deals, have built an advisory team. And what we do is we build you a virtual advisory team, and then you go fill in the rest of your blanks with other real human beings. Complete 1 to 3 investments, establish recurring passive income, and create a personal operating system. Having your POS is really truly what Catherine and I have been able to, how we've been able to thrive, is because we have a POS. Our personal operating system helps us accelerate where other people struggle daily. Um, we solve bigger problems because of the fact that our POS is in place. And then in the 5-year vision, you can get to a 5-year vision in 2 years if you do it right. Is to build that financial independence and get a diversified portfolio, start legacy wealth establishment, and meaningful community impact. So some of the key financial KPIs, the math to keep in mind is that you want to have monthly passive income increase of about 4%, cash on cash return in up to 5.2%, have a 10% net growth, do a portfolio occupancy and a debt reduction of 5%. Your personal KPIs are going to be to deal analyze, get education completed, build partnerships, protect your family time, and community impact initiatives get supported through your efforts. Building dependable cash flow first, but that will fund larger opportunities for service later. Ashley is not a speculative investor, a transaction chaser, or a short-term opportunist. She's a conscious capitalist that has cash flow builder like creativity, a legacy creator, a relationship-centered investor, and a purpose-driven wealth builder. Built to have dependable cash flow and create meaningful impact, leave a legacy, and to leave a legacy that improves lives for generations. Ashley, you have a blueprint that is ready for you and a foundation that is available. The greatest strengths that you have been, exhibited in all the things that you've done here so far. So we encourage you to join the Landshark Mastermind or get into the Seven Streams Investor Club, and be part of the community. So there's your presentation.
Love that. It read me really well. I was like a little bit, when I read it before you put that together, it was saying how like my best investments would be buy and hold rentals. And
Mhm.
I was kind of like, I agree because that's what I've wanted for a long time, but I was also a little off put by that because I want to get into bigger and better things. But like it was saying, I need to start with a few, of those and then move on to higher tier investments. So I think it's accurate. I just had a renter that destroyed my house not
Yeah.
too long ago, and it made me feel like, oh, I don't know if I want to be maybe like
Well, yeah,
buy commercial and hold those.
and the thing is about doing rentals, what you're doing is you're building what Catherine has as her SREO and her portfolio, right? She no
Hmm.
longer has any of her rentals, but she has the experience of it, which is what the bank wants to see. And so before you can get into the commercial stuff, you have to show you have the skills to do it, right? And so when you're able to say I had 57 rentals or 27 rentals or whatever, you're going to get better treatment the more rentals you have and where your placement was inside of those, right?
Got
So
it.
that's the biggest thing is, and that's why we joint venture with some people is because when people are like, you know what, I want to skip the line, I want to skip the experience part. I just want to get into the big stuff. We have the experience, Catherine and I have the experience to pull up alongside of these people as joint venture partners and get into it with them using our experience and their money. These people can't just say, hey, I want to get into a large real estate investment without any capital. Well, like just because you have a great idea, if you don't have the experience, you better have the capital. And Catherine and I have done this where like there's three legs to a stool, four legs to a table, right? And so a stool is something that's temporary, but a table is more permanent. And so at that point, in order to actually get on a deal, you have to have three main components. You have to have a credit partner, a capital partner, and a contractor, period. And that contractor isn't there necessarily all the time to build it. He's there to verify you got something worth buying, right? And so that three-way leg, the three pillars of that stool are important to even sit on a deal. To get it to the next level, you're going to want to bring in the next component, which is the concierge or the operator. And so if you're going to run something like a multifamily, you need a property management company that's going to run it. And if you fill out the paperwork to do the loan, that's on there. It's who's running the property? Oh, me. Well, how many years have you been a property manager? 0. Guess what? You just added 6 points to your interest payment
Or
because
in the
you have
no,
zero
they
experience.
won't fund it.
They won't even fund it, but I was trying to be nice. But if you put on there that you have a property management company that's been in business 35 years and in this area for, for the last 20 years and they're very successful and this is their track record, then at that point, the bank's like, oh yeah, okay, here you go. Here's your money for sure. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah, your team matters.
Yeah.
so, and that doesn't matter if it's a multifamily, like, apartment building or multifamily mobile home park or multifamily RV park. Like, if you tell them you're running it, you're the operator and you're the credit and you're the capital and you're everything, bank goes, sorry, if one of you dies, the bank, the bank doesn't win. So that's why you gotta have a team going into anything, is because if you're representing all four parts of the property, they typically don't want that. I
Mhm.
know that investors don't. Investors will pass 100% of the time.
Mhm.
Yep.
But again, if you borrow $1 million from the bank and decide not to pay them back, you got a problem, you know. But if you borrow $100 million from the bank and decide not to pay it back, you got a partner. You understand that?
Mhm.
So the bank gives you $100 million and you don't pay it back. Do you know why the bank wants to be your partner?
Because they want to get their money back.
They want their money back, and the only way to do it is become your partner. What do we
Mhm.
got to do to help you succeed? You know,
Mhm.
and so that's the way you got to look at deals when you're going into them, because that's what your profile says. You're not a transaction chaser. The reason why I want you to look at deals and figure them out and speed through them like that is so that you get through 150 no's. You know what a good cream of the crop property looks like. And when you do that, then you're able to deploy the team because you have the personality to already have your team. Like, you could probably find all three parts to your stool right now, you know? So, and that part is important because speed through a deal is important. Uh, the old saying is time kills all deals, you know?
Mhm.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm glad that you got to experience that, and certainly hope that, based on what we've been able to do inside of working on this project for you, with you, we actually get the deal to close and get stuff going for you. But outside of that, it's a big deal. I understand that too. So if you want to start looking at smaller deals, duplexes, quadplexes, stuff like that, we'll help you run those deals too. And figure those out. So just come every day with something like that and we'll pop through them. And again, did you and Cicely meet up offline yet?
No, but I'm free today. The last week and a half was really busy, but this week,
Yeah.
like today
No
specifically, I
worries.
have some time. So if
Yeah,
I would
no worries. Just reach out to her. I think that'd be cool if you guys could connect.
I can do
So,
that right
but
now.
other than that, I'm going to wrap it up with a prayer because I do have some other things that I want to jump off onto, and I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to present your analysis and so another case study in the books. And so I appreciate you and Stanford, thanks for coming in, brother. Let's make sure you get on our calendar or if you want opportunity to run this deal a little bit deeper, let me know. I'll share the link to the chat and you can have all that information we ran
We can
today.
talk about the money if he wants.
Yep, yep.
That'd be great. That would be great.
Very cool. Yep. So and then let me see, I'm gonna send it to the chat right here. You can grab it out of the chat and pop it into, there we go. You can pop it into your chat GPT and probably pick up on the conversation right where I left off. Maybe. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up with a prayer. I wanna invite everybody to come back tomorrow, invite some people with you. So, tell people about it and, help us build up the Titan Impact Group brand and help us help other people. The way we're helping you guys. So anyway, wrap it up. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the blessing of this day and the blessing of this life. We ask that you continue to bless and guide us and bring all these people together to do your will. In your son's name we pray. Amen.
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 Everybody have a wonderful day. We'll see everybody tomorrow.
Thank
Thank you,
you
everyone.
guys.